Hello, my loves, and welcome to another episode of Effortlessly Abundant Life. How are you guys? How you feeling? How's your week? How was your weekend? Ooh, I have such a good episode for you guys. So I posted on my Instagram page, on my stories, actually. If you're not following me, this is the time to go to Instagram and go follow me at Effortlessly Abundant Life. I know it's a mouthful and it's kind of like, how do you spell that? But trust me, there's not a lot of people there. So I'm sure if you guys just gonna write effort, you guys gonna see me right there. And I share with you a poll asking you, what would you like for me to record for this week's episode? And most of you, 70% of you, wanted me to record this episode about how to say no. And especially in November, because in November, we have the word no. So we're going to practice in November how to say no and how I actually changed my life, and I know it will change yours. So let's start with our intro and let's talk about how to say no. Welcome to the Effortlessly Abundant Life podcast, where we will dive into the mindset, spirituality, and practical tools to have more of what you want with less effort. I'm your host, Natalia, a mindset shifter, certified life and success coach, and hypnotherapist who is obsessed with making your life feel good from the inside out. So let's dive in today's episode in 3, 2, 1. So if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably someone who is a goal digger and somebody who wants to be the best version of themselves. They are somebody who wants to feel and be and live the life to the fullest, maximize their potential, and be, as I said, the best version of themselves. And one of the things that I found for myself and for my beautiful listeners and my clients is that we care about what people say. We really do. And it always comes back to our childhood where we were craving somebody's love. We were craving somebody's attention. It could be our mom or dad or both. And this pattern of overdoing, trying to impress other people around us in order to receive this unconditional love that we wanted is something that we carry through our whole entire life. And one of the biggest things I see that is hard for us is to put clear boundaries with people around us, with ourselves, with just in life in general. And one of the most important ways to create those boundaries is to say no to things and people that are no longer serving us. And this is hard because this is about understanding, and that is where our ego fears death. Because in our subconscious mind, we consider no as if it's death. Because we think if I am going to say no, they're not going to like me, or they're not going to approve of me, or they're going to think something bad about me. And if they think something bad about me, that means they don't love me. They're not approving of me. Therefore, I'm dead. And that is exactly how your subconscious mind think about those situations in your life. So I know it sounds extreme, but your subconscious mind, it doesn't sound as extreme at all. And it wants to keep you protected. So in order to avoid pain, we tend to say yes to things and people. And it's just like everything in life that it's not a hell yes. We're just going to do it because it's convenient for other people or it's something that we expected to do. And then we kind of putting ourselves last. And then we wonder, why are we feeling burned out? Why things are not happening for us the way we want? Why people treat us the way we kind of don't want to be treated at? So when your subconscious mind says yes, let's say, to go to a party where you completely don't want to go, or you said yes to taking a project that is just not in alignment with you, but you want to please your boss, your subconscious mind says yes to it, even though you don't want to do it, but your subconscious mind is the one who's making the decisions, is saying yes because that is less scary and more safe for you than saying no, which for your subconscious mind, it means death. Isn't it crazy? So let's unpack it. Let's really kind of see how we can create a better relationship with the word no. And it's so funny because, as you know, I'm a mom to a 21 month baby, toddler, whatever. I don't even know when is like becoming a toddler stage, when is a baby, when it's over. Honestly, he acts like a toddler. So, Michael, my son, one of the first words he learned is the word no. And it's so interesting. And, you know, when you become a parent, you experiencing life all over again. And one of the things I really kind of look at and observe him is saying the word no almost all the time. And I honor it. I'm not trying to push if he doesn't want drink or water, excuse me, like water, or he doesn't want some kind of food and that I'm offering. He says no, although I think he should have it. He says no, I honor it. And I give it a pause and I give him other options. And usually he's not even saying the word yes. He's just shows me, points what he wants, or he says the word of what he wants. If it's a banana or apple, that's how he says it's apple. Or he just does it. It doesn't even ask for permission. And this is something we can learn from our children that doesn't they don't really have the concept of pleasing yet, right? Although they want to be liked, but they're not doing it in a way that is manipulative. They just who they are. It's almost like dogs. They're not trying to be liked. They're being happily themselves, and everybody just falling in love with them, and everybody wants to pat them, and everybody wants to play with them. And that's how I see my son. Everywhere he go, he just brought is like a shining, like a little shining bright sun that just brightens up every room he walks in, and people just walk towards him. People want to talk to him. People stop everything. My nanny always tells me like how when he goes around and there's a meeting and people wearing suits and it's important meeting, he goes to that table and start talking to random strangers, and they stop the meeting and everybody's interacting with him. And that is the power of being yourself. But what I wanted to say about that is how easy it is for him to say no. And I observed it and I'm looking at it and I say, wow, I want to keep this for him. And how much can I learn from this? So we can all also learn from this. And I thought that November is going to be such a good month for all of us to take a step back and really ask ourselves, especially in this new moon that we are now experiencing, is asking the question of, okay, what do I want? Right. And this, by the way, this question you need to keep asking yourself frequently, because guess what? You're probably going to want different things in different stages. Maybe you just don't want what you thought you want. And that's the beauty of life. You know, we are allowed to change our mind. But by just asking what I want is going to help you to determine what you do not want. If you're feeling it's hard for you to answer this question of what do you want, go actually to the other question, as I mentioned, of what do not want anymore? What doesn't feel joyful anymore for you? What drains your energy? What feels like a task and a chore and something you should do versus what you want to do? And I feel as humanity, we always run through the thought process and just like this agenda of what we are expected to do. It's not like we don't live life to do what we want to do. There is things to do, there's bills to pay, there is all these responsibilities. But I am here to remind you that that is not the ultimate truth. And you can have experience of a life that is joyful, that is driven from your wants, from your joy, from your excitement. And that is actually going to lead you to your fulfillment and to your abundance more than ever. And yes, do we need sometimes to go on our app and pay our bills and do some things that not spike joy to us all the time? Yes. But can we actually prioritize joy, prioritize the hell yes choices, and minimize as much as we can the things that don't fill us up, the things that feel draining, the things don't really like part of us anymore? And that is a feel as it's a pandemic of humanity right now that it I feel everybody's kind of stuck in their own way, and we all kind of live life of outside in of what people think of us, and we forget that the most important opinion and the most important thing is how we feel about ourselves and our life, period, end of story. And nobody else lives your life. Nobody goes to bed at night and feels the way they feel after the long day they had. So when we ask our question of what we want or what we do not want, we need to look and see if opportunities come to us or people come to us or certain events come to us and we are presented with a question of, let's say, as I mentioned, your boss comes to you and say, I need you to do this project that is X, Y, and Z. And it's not really part of your scope of work. It's not really part of your responsibilities. And you really don't want to work on the weekends. And it's just not something you feel you want to do. And not because you're being an asshole. It's just because honestly, you just don't like this. You don't feel it's really matches your abilities. And maybe somebody else can do a better job. Right. So just a simple kind of, let's say, scenario, let's look at it. When we think about what do I want to feel and be or have in my job, let's say you want to have more fulfillment, right? You want to do things that actually feels good, that actually are stimulating you. They actually you using your creativity, using your intuition, you using your actual talents. You want something that is not going to take hours upon hours just because you kind of like you don't feel connected to it in any way. And honestly, maybe because you're good at what you do, people think and expect you to do things that are not part of your scope of work just because you are so good at what you do. And people kind of have this mindset of, oh, she would do such a good job at this. But it doesn't mean that you feel you're going to do a good job at this, or you feel this is actually something that belongs to you and you have something to contribute in that. So, how we can say no in a better way. So, the first thing, I would not right away say the word no. I would say, okay, thank you very much. Let me think about it. Always take a pause. If you're not sure of how you feel, you really want to kind of get more information and so you can make a better decision, take your time. You don't have to give an answer right away. And then take a step back and sit with it. And I like to write on a piece of paper kind of all the things that I will have, or what are the things I will enjoy doing in this project, or what are going to be the ripple effect? Where are going to be the benefits? Where is going to be the why for me to do this project? And if there is literally nothing there and it's pretty much feels dull and feels like forced, it's a hell no. It's a hell no. And the most important thing is before you go back to that person, you come back to your boss, you need to sit with yourself and really feel the alignment. And there is no this contradiction between yourself where you feel, wait, yes, but no, and yes, and no. People are going to feel it. But if you're coming from a place of really grounded no, people are going to respect it. So remember, it's all about energy, right? It's not what you say, it's the energy of what you're saying. So when we think about saying no to that boss, we also want to think about what are we saying yes to? Because remember, one of the most important, most honestly, one of the biggest lessons that I learned is saying no is actually saying yes to something better and something that is going to be more aligned with you. And I actually have this mantra: the more I say no to the things that I don't like or don't spark joy, I actually attract more hell yes experiences, people, and opportunities. It's a little long one, but you can make it your own. But you get the point, right? It's not thinking about no, and there's this like awkward silence of this void that you created of no, and all you're getting is hate, and people don't like you, and you're gonna fail at your job, and people are gonna think you are too much, or you're this or you're that, whatever you think about when you think you're get when you're gonna say the word no. I want you to think, what are you actually saying yes to? You actually saying yes to bigger, better projects that actually fits your character, fits your talents, fits your experience. Something that is actually going to expand you, that is makes you excited. Because if you're saying no to something, it's just the law of space, right? You cannot have, in let's say in a cup of water, right? There is a certain amount of space. And if you're actually doing something that you don't like, you actually pushing away something that you actually can like and will be excited about. But because of the law of space, because you right now filled your space up with a certain activity and energy, there is no room for the other energy to enter. So by clearing the way, clearing your vessel by saying no, guess what the universe understands? Is like, okay, fantastic. How about this? How about that? How about this? How about that? Like I do with my toddler, right? He's saying, no, I don't want this yogurt right now. Okay. Do you want apple? Do you want banana? Do you want grapes? Do you want whatever, something else? And then by tuning into your intuition, by tuning into your feelings, you're going to know what is a yes and what is a no. And it is a practice. That is the truth. A lot of people, because we've been trained to not follow what we want, and we consider it and actually labeled it, is it a bad thing and almost selfish? It takes time for us to really decondition that belief and that thought process and that identity and this almost understanding that if I'm following what I want, I'm selfish. People not going to like me. And it's obviously rooted deeper than this lifetime. It's something that's part of our ancestors back in the days when we lived in tribes. If we were different, if we actually follow what we only want individually, and we weren't serving the pack, we weren't serving our tribe, we were actually being forced to get out of this tribe. And most likely we will die because back in the days, you had to be in a tribe in order to survive. You couldn't just be by yourself hunting, building, making food, finding water, all the things they did. It's just not possible. But in our world that we live right now, thank goodness, it's okay. There's so many different opinions. There's so many different ways to live your life. There's so many things you can do. You find your own tribe just by posting and putting yourself out there and attracting the people that are people in your wavelength. So this is not true anymore, but because it's so rooted in our subconscious mind, which is, by the way, as I told you, it's not just everything you accumulate since you were 0 to 7. It's actually rooted back in the past life and generation because it's all in your DNA. It's all in your subconscious mind. All this data is actually collected in your subconscious mind. But the good news, my loves, you can reprogram it. You can choose the identity, the beliefs of who you want to be. And by practicing saying no, this is not a good fit for me, you will feel the relief of your lifetime. And in the beginning, it's going to feel like a little hard. And maybe some people not going to react the way you thought they will react. But eventually, in the long run, you're going to be so happy you did it because you're just going to live life of yeses, of fulfillment. And only you can do it. Nobody can just come to you and just bring you the life that you want if you're not making the choices for yourself of what you actually want, right? Life is going to give you polarity. Life is going to give you different scenarios, different things. And you're the one. Thank God we have the choice of whatever we can choose of, right? Yes or no, this or that, right or left. You can make the decision of what fits you. And as I said, the more you practice it, the more it's going to be clearer for you to make those choices, easier to make those choices. And in some areas, it's going to be harder. In some areas, it's going to be easier. But start practicing it. And coming back to your boss after you really aligned with yourself and really were very clear what is it you're saying no to and what it is you're actually saying yes to, and focusing on that and reminding you of that. And of course, if you need deeper deconditioning and help, you can always book one single session with me so you can reprogram your mind by doing my hypnosis, which is very, very powerful. Only within 45 minutes, you're going to recondition patterns upon patterns of years and years that ran your life. And this is the power of tapping into subconscious mind. So if you are interested, all the information is in the show notes in the description bar below. But reminding you that it's the small choices you made throughout the day. It doesn't have to be the big things. But the more you're practicing, the more you're reminding yourself, okay, it's not just a no, it's a yes to other things. And keep saying that mantra for yourself of the more I say no to the things that don't light me up, the more hell yeses are attracted to me. And this is what changed my perspective. And I hope it changed for you guys. And when you're coming back to that boss and you say, I really appreciate you thought about me of doing this project. I really appreciate it. I'm honored actually, but I really feel this is not the best fit for me. And I actually have an idea of who could be a better fit for this, just based on their skills and experience and just of what you feel And I actually see myself doing more of this and that. And then when they have this idea in their mind of this and that, they're going to come back to you and say, I was thinking about you. And in the end of the day, people want, especially if you're in management, you want people to do something from a place of wanting. Nobody wants to force something that it doesn't feel good on the other person. And they know that the more they're going to force something and they're not in alignment of it, they don't want to do it, that's not going to actually give them good results. And all they care about, especially if you're running a business, is results. So really understand that, yes, it's uncomfortable, but what is more uncomfortable? That specific moment with your boss, with your best friend, with your family that you're saying no to whatever it is that doesn't feel good to you, or how you treating yourself. And keeping that and breaking your own promises, breaking your own trust, and putting yourself last, that is more painful than being a little bit uncomfortable with that person that is trying to challenge your boundaries. So I hope, guys, you enjoyed this episode. If you have any further questions, please let me know. As I said, on my Effortlessly Abundant Life Instagram page, I'm always there posting on my stories, on my feed. And I love, love, love interacting with you guys. And if you want to start your journey and start kind of creating the life that you want instead of reacting to the life that is happening around you, I created for you my morning routine. It's only 15-20 minutes. I'm all about short and to the point, where it's super potent, super powerful, no bullshit, no BS, but truly the best tools, and using multiple tools so you can tap into your subconscious mind on a daily basis for only 15-20 minutes a day. And can be found on my show notes down in my description bar. If you clicked on the Mindset Up Accelerator, this is my free, it's kind of like a guided meditation. It's hard to explain what it is because it's so many different things in one, but it's a guided meditation and a journal prompt that you can use every single day to prep yourself for your best day ever. And this is what I do to create the life that I want, to attract the clients that I want, the money that I want, the relationship that I want, the opportunities, everything. It's all comes boiled to down to this. So go ahead, grab it, and go ahead, guys, practice saying no. Just like how my son is doing it so easily. No, no, no. And it doesn't mean that I love him less. It doesn't mean that I find him difficult. It doesn't mean anything other than what we tell ourselves it means. So happy practicing. Enjoy your rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.